If my daughter dies in the next 9 minutes, Sarah, so do you. And so does every single person you love. Do you understand me, sweetheart? The voice on the phone did not shout. That was what broke her. It was calm. It was fatherly. And it had just promised to kill her whole family before sunrise. Sarah Mitchell was kneeling in a Seattle alley with a 19-year-old girl turning blue in her arms, rain running into her mouth, and a name burning through her skull like a brand Covello. Before we go, one step further, smash that subscribe button, stay with me to the very end, and drop your city in the comments so I can see how far this story travels tonight. Please, please don't die on me. Please, honey, not tonight. Sarah Mitchell had never begged a stranger for anything in her life. She was begging now. The blonde girl in her lap was not breathing the way people breathe. She was doing the shallow, broken fluttering of a body that had already half decided it was done. One shoe on, one shoe missing. A little silver cross around a throat the color of skim milk. And from the crook of her elbow, a needle still hanging there, as if nobody had even bothered to pull it out before they left her behind the dumpster. Come on, sweetheart. You stay with me. You stay with me. 4 years of graveyard shifts at Benny's Diner had shown Sarah Mitchell a lot of things. Drunks, runaways. A man once crying into a bag of groceries at 3 a.m. because his wife had left him a note on the kitchen counter. She had seen in 4 years exactly one thing she could not unsee. She had never until tonight seen a body. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Her hands knew CPR the way her grandmother's hands had known how to fold a flag. 9th grade health class, a rubber dummy, a teacher who smelled like coffee, 2 fingers to the throat, a pulse, faint, fluttering. There. Okay, you got one. You got one, honey, you got one. Then the phone rang. Not hers. Hers was still clenched in her own shaking fist. This one was in the girl's jacket pocket. And it was not a ringtone, it was a bell, a deep old single bell. The kind of ringtone a man picks for himself, not a 19-year-old. It rang once, it rang twice, it rang a third time louder than the rain, and Sarah Mitchell's hand moved before her brain caught up. She pulled it out. She turned the screen toward the flickering bulb above the back door. One word, Dad. Sarah stared at it for a full second. Don't something inside her whispered. Sarah, put it down and walk away from this alley right now. But the girl in her lap made a tiny noise, the kind of noise a kitten makes, and Sarah Mitchell had never in her whole life been the kind of woman who could not answer a father's phone call. Her thumb slid across the screen. Hello, silence. A long, listening silence. Then a voice, low, male, the kind of voice a doctor uses when the news is bad. Who is this? My name is Sarah. I'm a waitress, sir, at Benny's Diner on 4th and Pike, and I think I have your daughter. Is she alive? Yes, sir, but yes or no, Sarah? Yes. The man on the other end exhaled, a small sound, the sound of a building settling after an earthquake. Where is she? Behind the diner. I came out to take the trash. I found her next to the dumpster. There's a needle. I think she... Stop, she stopped. Now listen to me, Sarah. I am going to say 3 things. I need you to hear every one of them. Can you do that? Yes, sir. First, you will not call an ambulance. You will not call the police. You will not call anyone. Sir, she's dying. You will not call anyone. He did not raise his voice. He did not need to. He had said the word anyone the way a surgeon says the word scalpel. Second, my men will be at your back door in under 9 minutes. You will open it for them. You will do exactly what they say. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Third, a pause, a long, careful pause. You will keep my daughter alive for those 9 minutes, Sarah. You will talk to her. You will hold her. You will say her name out loud over and over because she can still hear you, and she needs to remember whose child she is. Her name is Sophia. Say her name. Sophia. Again. Sophia. Good girl. Sarah's mouth had gone dry. Sir, who am I talking to? A second of nothing, then, my name is Dominic Covello. Sarah's knees nearly gave out. She did not live in a bubble. Nobody in Seattle did. Some names you did not have to look up. Some names you recognize the way you recognize the sound of a freight train. Covello, the shipping container at the port last fall. The federal prosecutor who resigned 3 days before his closing statement. The councilman who cried on camera and said, "I have decided to spend more time with my family," and whose family had nodded beside him with eyes like dolls. Covello, Covello, Covello. "Oh my God," Sarah whispered. "Don't panic on me, Sarah. I'm not." "You are. Stop. My daughter does not have time for your panic." "Yes, sir." And Sarah. "Yes, sir. If my daughter dies in the next 9 minutes, if she stops breathing, if her heart gives out, if I pull into that lot and find a body instead of a girl, you will not die tonight. I want you to understand that very clearly. I will not hurt you tonight." Sarah's breath caught. "Sir, I will hurt you next Tuesday, Sarah, in your apartment, after you have had a few days to think it was over. I will hurt your mother if she is alive. I will hurt your brother if you have one. I will hurt every person whose name is in your phone, because that is what a man in my position does when somebody lets his daughter die in a puddle behind a diner. Do you understand me, sweetheart?" "Yes, sir." "Good. Now keep her breathing." The line went dead. Sarah sat down in the rain. Not on purpose. Her legs just decided. The girl was still fluttering in her lap. The phone was still warm in her fist. Somewhere in the distance, Sarah Mitchell could hear her own heart beating, and she understood very clearly, for the first time in her life, she understood that the small, simple version of herself that had existed 20 minutes ago did not exist anymore and was not going to exist again ever. "Sophia," she said to the girl, and her voice cracked straight down the middle. "Sophia, honey, your daddy's coming. Your daddy is coming." The girl's fingers twitched. Sarah burst into tears. "That's it, baby. That's it. You heard me. You heard me." The back door banged open. "Sarah, Sarah, where the hell are, oh Jesus, Mary and Joseph?" Marco, the cook, 58 years old, dish towel over his shoulder, 3 stabbings, 1 heart attack, and a birth in a booth on a Tuesday, and Sarah saw in real time every ounce of color leave his face. "Oh my God, Sarah, don't call anyone Marco." "Sarah, she's Marco. Listen to me." He stopped. The tone of her voice had stopped him. He had never once in 4 years heard Sarah Mitchell sound like that. "Sarah, her father is on the phone. Her father is Dominic Covello." Marco did not drop the dish towel. He did not curse. He did not move at all. He just stood in the open door with the rain between them, and Sarah watched a line cook who had seen everything fine at 58, a thing he had not seen. "Sarah, I know. Sarah, that name ain't. I know Marco. That's his kid? That's his kid." Marco crossed himself, a thing Sarah had never in 4 years seen Marco do. "Holy Mother of God, holy Sarah, we can't, Sarah. We can't, Marco." He said 9 minutes. He said his men are already coming. "You think we run from that name? You think there's a street in this city? We run from that name." Marco closed his eyes, opened them, looked down at the girl. "Help me pick her up, Sarah." "What?" "Help me pick her up, kiddo. She ain't dying on concrete. Not this one, not his." They lifted Sophia Covello between them. She weighed less than the bag of trash Sarah had come out to throw away. They carried her like she was made of something that had already cracked. Inside, Marco flipped the close sign and killed every light but the one over the pie case. The diner went dim and yellow and quiet as a church. Sarah laid the girl on the long booth in the back, and one nobody ever sat at because the vinyl was split, and pulled off her apron and balled it under the girl's head. "Sophia, Sophia, honey, you're inside now, you're warm, you're safe, your daddy's coming right now." "Sarah," Marco's voice was wrecked. "Sarah, what do I do, honey, what do I do?" "Warm water, a towel, sugar water if we got it. Go." He went. Sarah bent down. Up close, Sophia could not have been more than 19. Baby-faced, a tiny mole just below her left eye. Somebody's little girl. Somebody's whole entire world. "Sophia, it's Sarah. I'm a waitress. I'm just a waitress, sweetheart. You don't know me, but I'm here and your daddy's coming. You stay with me." The girl's lips moved. Honey, what is it?" A breath, a shape of a syllable. What, baby?" "Mick." Sarah went still, because Sarah Mitchell had a brother named Michael Mitchell, 26, unemployed mechanic on paper. The kid who had slept in her bed during thunderstorms until he was 9. The kid who 8 months ago had pulled up to her curb in a black Cadillac he had no business driving and had stopped answering her calls 3 days later. No, Sarah whispered to no one. No, 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 no. Marco came back with the water. What? Nothing, nothing, Marco. Give me the towel. She was lying. She was already lying. She dipped the towel, pressed it to the girl's forehead, her wrists, her throat, and she dripped a little sugar water between those pale lips, and she tried with every ounce of adult discipline she had in her 31 years to push down the picture of her little brother in that black Cadillac. Headlights swept the front windows. Marco froze. How many? Sarah said. 3 cars, black, big cars, Sarah. Open the door, Marco. Sarah, open the door before they open it for us. The bell jingled the way it jingled for any trucker at 4 in the morning. Tonight it jingled for 4 men in long coats. They did not look around. Men who look around are men who are nervous, and these men were not nervous. 2 split left, 2 split right. One walked behind the counter like he owned it. Not one of them looked at Sarah. Not once. Then the 5th man stepped through, and the diner got smaller. Sarah had never understood before that second what people meant when they said a man filled a room. She had thought it was a figure of speech. It was not. Dominic Cavello walked into Benny's diner, and every molecule of air in the building rearranged itself around him. Early 50s, silver at the temples, a coat that cost more than her car, a face that had been handsome once and somewhere along the way had decided handsome was for other men. He did not look at Marco. He did not look at his own men. He did not look at Sarah. He looked straight and only at the booth in the back where his daughter was lying, and then Dominic Cavello, the man the mayor pretended did not exist. The man 2 federal prosecutors had failed to put away, crossed the diner in 6 long strides and dropped to his knees. Not sat, not knelt, dropped. Sophia. The voice was not the voice from the phone. It was the voice of a father who had for the last 30 minutes had been imagining opening a drawer in a morgue. Sophia, baby, daddy's here, look at me. Look at daddy, baby. He took her face in both hands the way a man holds a bird he found in his yard. He pressed his forehead to hers. His shoulders shook once, twice. He mastered it on the 3rd. Then he lifted his head and he turned it and he looked for the first time at Sarah Mitchell. And Sarah understood in that one look what her mother had meant years ago when she said some men had eyes that did the work their hands didn't have to. Is she breathing? Yes, sir. How long? 12 minutes, sir. Maybe 13. Did you see anyone else? No, sir. Did she speak? Sarah's mouth opened, closed. Sir, Joe, did she speak? Dominic Cavello's eyes held hers, and Sarah Mitchell understood in 1 second that this man could tell the way a priest tells sin whether she was about to lie to him. She thought of her little brother at 6 years old holding her hand at their father's funeral. She thought of Sophia Cavello's lips forming one small syllable. Mick, she opened her mouth, and she chose. She said one thing, sir. What? She said, Mike, sir. Dominic Cavello did not blink, did not move, did not breathe. He held the word in the air between them the way a man holds a lit match over gasoline. Mike. Yes, sir. You are sure? Yes, sir. She said, Mike. Yes, sir. He turned his head very slowly to the man at his left shoulder. A square man, shaved scalp, hands that didn't swing. Tommy. Yes, boss. Get the doctor inside now. Sweep the alley. I want the needle bagged. I want the contents tested before sunrise. On it, boss. Marco. Marco nearly jumped out of his apron. Yes, sir. Dominic reached inside his coat without looking, pulled out a folded stack of bills, thicker than the Bible on the counter, and set it down on the register with a soft thump. You are going home, Marco. Yes, sir. You are going to walk home because I am keeping your car for the night. Yes, yes, sir. Anything you. You are going to kiss your wife. You are going to pretend tonight did not happen. And if anyone, a cop, a neighbor, your own mother asks you what happened in this diner tonight, you are going to tell them the stove was acting up and you closed early. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. If you forget well, Marco, you will be a lucky man for a very long life. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Go. Marco went. He left his apron on the hook. He left his coat. He walked out the back door into the rain with his arms wrapped around himself, and he did not look back. The bolt slid home, and Dominic Cavello very slowly stood up from his daughter's booth and turned his full attention on Sarah Mitchell. Sarah. Yes, sir. Come here, sweetheart. The word sweetheart out of that mouth was one of the most frightening things Sarah had ever heard, because it was not a threat. That was the problem. It was gentle, a gentle, fatherly sweetheart from a man who had 13 minutes ago described how he would kill her family if his daughter died. She came. Her feet moved before her brain decided. He did not touch her. He stopped a foot away. He studied her face the way an auctioneer studies a painting. You saved her life. Sir, I don't know if I decide that, Sarah, not you. Yes, sir. Tell me your full name. Sarah Mitchell. Something passed through his eyes. There and gone so fast she almost thought she had imagined it. Mitchell. Yes, sir. And do you have family in this city, Sarah Mitchell? Her mouth was ash. Yes, sir. Who? I have a brother, sir. His name? Michael. Michael. Yes, sir. Another small smile. Not a nice one. Michael Mitchell. Yes, sir. Dominic Cavello looked at her for what felt like a year. Then he did something Sarah did not expect. He reached out and with the back of one finger, just the back of one finger, he brushed a strand of wet hair out of her eyes. And Sarah Mitchell, who 8 months ago had fought her own brother in her kitchen over whether she could tell him what to do, stood perfectly still and let a mafia boss touch her face. Sarah. Yes, sir. My daughter whispered a name tonight, and you gave it to me. Do you understand what you just did? Sir, you did not lie to protect a stranger, Sarah. A lot of people would have. Most people would have. You did not. You told me the truth. You gave me my daughter's last word. Do you know what that means to a man in my position, sweetheart? No, sir. It means you are not going anywhere tonight. Not back to your apartment. Not back to this diner. Not out of my sight. From this moment on, Sarah Mitchell, until I decide otherwise, you are with me. Sir, I am not asking. Somewhere outside a car door slammed. The doctor. The headlights swept Dominic Cavello's face, and for 1/2 second, Sarah saw it, the father underneath, just the father terrified out of his mind. Then the light moved on, and the mafia boss came back. Sit down, Sarah. Sir, please, my brother. Sit down. She sat, because her legs did. Dominic Cavello crouched in front of her the way a man crouches in front of a child. He put one hand flat and light over hers where it lay trembling in her lap. Sarah. Yes, sir. I am going to ask you one question, and I am going to ask it exactly once. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Where is your brother tonight? Sarah's eyes filled. She thought of Michael at 10 crying on her bed because a boy at school had called him stupid. Michael at 16 holding her hand at their mother's funeral. Michael at 26 in a black Cadillac. He wouldn't explain, saying, "Don't worry about it, Sarah. I got a new job. I got it handled." She thought of Sophia Cavello behind a dumpster with a needle in her arm. She thought of her own life in her own hands and how small it suddenly was. And Sarah Mitchell, waitress at Benny's Diner on 4th and Pike, opened her mouth to answer a mafia boss she had known for 19 minutes. Yes. The word was out of her mouth before she could stop it. Small, flat, true. Dominic Cavello did not move. Yes, what, Sarah? Yes, sir. I know where my brother is. I mean, I don't know where he is right now, but I know who he is, and I know, her voice cracked, I know what kind of trouble he's been in. Tell me. 8 months ago, sir, he came to my apartment. He had a car he couldn't afford, a black Cadillac. I asked him about it, and he laughed, and he said, Sarah, I got a real job, now I'm somebody now. And 3 days later, he stopped answering his phone. And you did not push. I pushed, sir. I pushed for 3 weeks. Then I stopped. Why? Sarah's eyes filled. Because I was scared of what he'd say, sir. Dominic Cavello looked at her for a long second. Then he did something she did not expect. He nodded slowly. Once. Like a man who respected an honest answer even when it had not been the one he wanted. Good girl. Sir. Tommy. The square man at his shoulder straightened. Yes, boss. Michael Mitchell, 26, black Cadillac. Find his phone, trace his phone. I want to know where that phone is, and I want to know it in the next 4 minutes. On it, boss. Tommy disappeared out the front door. Sarah watched him go. Her hands were shaking so hard she had tucked them under her thighs to hide it. Sir. Yes, Sarah. What happens when you find him? Dominic did not answer for a long moment. He stood up slowly from his crouch. He walked behind the counter, lifted the 4-hour-old pot of coffee off Benny's burnt burner, poured himself a cup, took a sip, and set it down. Sarah. Yes, sir. Do you know the name Salvatore Vitti? No, sir. Good. That means you are telling me the truth. Anyone who knows that name would be lying to me right now out of fear, and you are too tired to lie well. I appreciate that. Yes, sir. Salvatore Vitti has wanted me dead for 11 years. 11 years, Sarah. That is a long time to want a man dead. Do you know why he wants me dead? No, sir. Because 11 years ago, I took a shipping route off his docks. He lost, I will be generous, $40 million a year. A man like Salvatore does not get over $40 million a year. He has tried by my count 7 times in 11 years to hurt me. He has failed every time. But Salvatore is a coward, Sarah. A coward. He will not come at me. He will come at what I love. And tonight, Dominic's eyes went to his daughter on the booth. Tonight he came at what I love. Sarah's stomach turned. Sir, are you saying my brother? I am saying, Sarah, that your brother drove a black Cadillac he could not afford. I am saying that pretty boys in black Cadillacs who cannot explain where the Cadillac came from are in my city the kind of pretty boys Salvatore Vitti keeps on a short leash. I am saying that my 19-year-old daughter has a soft heart and a weakness for pretty boys, and I have asked her not to, and she has not listened. I am saying that tonight somebody very beautiful and very charming drove my daughter somewhere she should not have been handed, her something she should not have taken, watched her stop breathing, and dumped her behind a diner. Sir, and I am saying, Sarah, that my daughter's last word before she went under was the nickname of a young man. Sarah closed her eyes. Oh, God. Yes, Sarah. Oh, God, no. Yes. Sir, he wouldn't. Sarah, he's a good kid, sir. Sarah. She stopped. Dominic set the coffee cup down and crossed the diner and crouched in front of her again. He did not touch her this time. He did not need to. Sarah, look at me. She looked. I am not angry at you. Do you hear me? I am not angry at you. You are not your brother. You are the opposite of your brother. Your brother left my daughter to Boehm, and you are the one who picked her up. I do not confuse those two things. I am a man who makes many mistakes, sweetheart, but that is not one of them. Yes, sir. But your brother, Sarah, your brother, when I find him, is going to answer for tonight. Sarah's mouth opened before her brain did. Please. The word just fell out. Please what, Sarah? Please don't kill him. The diner went very, very quiet. Tommy was already back in the doorway. He did not speak. The other men did not move. The doctor did not look up from Sophia's arm. The only sound was the hum of the pie case and the rain coming down outside. Dominic Cavello looked at Sarah Mitchell for a very long time. Then quietly, you are asking me, Sarah, to spare the life of the man who almost murdered my daughter tonight. Yes, sir. Think before you say it again. I don't have to think, sir. He's my baby brother. Our dad died when I was 16. Our mom died 4 years ago. He's all I have. He's the only person on this earth I have left, sir. And he's a stupid kid. He's not evil. Sir, he's just stupid. He's always been stupid. And Sarah, and I'll do anything, sir. I swear on my mother's grave, I'll do anything. Just please don't. Sarah, she stopped. She was crying again. Dominic Cavello reached out, and with the pat of his thumb, he wiped one tear off her cheekbone. The gesture was so small. It was so small and so tender and so paternal that Sarah Mitchell, who had not been touched tenderly by a man in 6 years, nearly broke apart right there on the ripped vinyl booth. Sarah. Yes, sir. You have courage. Stupid, stupid courage, but courage. Sir, I am going to make you a deal. I do not make deals, Sarah. Ask anyone in this city. I do not make deals. I am making one now. Are you listening? Yes, sir. Your brother is going to be brought in. By my men, not by Vitti's, alive. He is going to sit across a table from me, and he is going to answer every question I ask. If he tells me the truth, the whole truth, Sarah, not the clever truth, not the partial truth, I will not kill him. Oh, thank you, sir. I am not finished? His eyes held her in place. I did not say he walks away. I said I will not kill him. Your brother is going to owe me a debt, Sarah, for the rest of his natural life. That debt is going to be decided by me and by me alone. Do you understand? Yes, sir. And you, Sarah Mitchell? Yes, sir. You are going to owe me one, too. She nodded. She would have agreed to anything in that moment. She would have signed it in blood. Yes, sir. Good girl. He turned to Tommy. Bring him in. Alive. No marks above the collar. If Vitti's boys are on the road with him, you peel them off first. I want Michael Mitchell in front of me by sunrise, and I want him able to speak. Understood, boss. Go. Two men were gone before Tommy finished the word. Sarah did not even hear them move. Said Kid. The doctor stood up from the booth. Boss. Talk. Fentanyl. Cut with something synthetic, not street grade. Someone made this for her boss. How do you know? Because street fentanyl wouldn't have a reversal window. This one did. Somebody wanted her savable up to a point. Past that point, she was going to go. They were threading a needle, boss. This wasn't an accident. Dominic Cavello went very still. Say that again. This was engineered, boss. To look like an overdose, but to buy them a window. They wanted her found. They wanted her found late, but found. They wanted her in a morgue drawer with a needle in her arm. So they could blame somebody, boss, so somebody could take the fall for it. Dominic's eyes lifted slowly. They landed on Sarah. Sarah's blood went to ice. Sir, your brother, Sarah. Sir, he wouldn't, not your brother. Think, who benefits if your brother takes the fall? I don't think, sweetheart. Vitti. But why my brother? Why not just let her die anonymously? Why? Because anonymous is not enough, Sarah. Dominic's voice had gone flat. Vitti does not want my daughter dead. Vitti wants my daughter dead with a story. A story where a nobody kid from South Seattle killed a mafia princess. A story the news runs for a week. A story that makes me weak, Sarah. A story that makes me look like a father who could not protect his own child. That is the story Vitti is paying for tonight. Sarah's hands were shaking again. Sir, my brother. Your brother is the patsy, Sarah. Your brother was chosen, not randomly. Chosen. Someone picked him. Someone looked at a list of 26-year-old dumb kids with no money, and they chose Michael Mitchell specifically, and I need to know why. Sir, I don't... Sarah. Yes, sir. Does your brother have any connection to me? Any at all? Through friends? Through a cousin? Through a girl he used to date? Anything? Sarah opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. Sir? Yes. Our father. Dominic went still. Your father. Sir, our father worked on the docks for 28 years. He died when I was 16. He worked on the docks, sir. Which docks? Pier 18. The whole room stopped. Tommy, who had just come back in, froze in the doorway. Dominic did not move a muscle. Sarah. Yes, sir. Your father's name. Thomas Mitchell. Thomas Mitchell of Pier 18. Yes, sir. Dominic Cavello closed his eyes. He closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, Sarah saw something in his face she had not seen before and would never forget a look of a man who had just realized that something he had been treating like a coincidence for 20 minutes was not and had never been a coincidence. Sarah. Sir, your father worked for me. Sarah's mouth fell open. No, sir, your father worked for me for 12 years, Sarah. Sir, he was a foreman. He was my foreman. No. Yes, Sarah. No, he worked honest. He worked honest. He came home every night. He worked honest for me, Sarah, which means he worked honest for a man who was not honest. I do not mean that your father was a bad man. Your father was one of the best men I ever employed. He was a foreman. He ran a crew. He kept his mouth shut. He took a paycheck, and he went home to his wife and his kids, and when he died, Sarah, I sent flowers to his funeral, and I wrote a check to his widow that I assume she never told you about because she was a proud woman and did not want you to know where it came from. Sarah's whole body was shaking. Oh, my God. Yes. Oh, my God, sir. Sarah. The house we grew up in after Daddy. How we never lost it, Mom said. Mom said there was insurance. Mom said, your mother was a proud woman, Sarah. I did what your father would have wanted, that is all. Oh my God. Breathe, Sarah. Sir. Breathe, sweetheart. In, out. Good girl. She breathed. Badly. Sir, does Michael know? I do not know, Sarah, but I am beginning to suspect that somebody told him, and I am beginning to suspect that somebody used it. Used it how, sir? Used him, Sarah. Used your brother. Used the son of Thomas Mitchell. Fed him a story beyond his father. Told him his father had been used. Told him his father had been exploited. Told him his family was owed something by the Cavellos. Dangled a Cadillac. Dangled a future. Pointed him at my daughter and said, she's the payback kid. She's what your family is owed. Go get her. Sarah put her face in her hands. Oh, Mikey. Yes, Sarah. Oh, Mikey. Your brother was not a killer tonight, Sarah. Your brother was a weapon. That is worse for him in some ways. In other ways, it is better. It depends very much on what he says when he sits down across from me. She was sobbing now. Real sobs. The kind that come up from the bottom of a person. Dominic sat down next to her, on the booth, not across from her, next to her, close enough that her shoulder was touching his sleeve. He did not speak. He let her cry. After a minute, he reached into his coat and pulled out a white handkerchief and pressed it into her hand. It was folded. It smelled faintly of his cologne. Blow your nose, Sarah. She laughed. Once. A broken little laugh. She blew her nose. Sorry, sir. Do not apologize for crying, sweetheart. Not tonight. Yes, sir. No. Tommy cleared his throat from the door. Boss? Talk. Got the phone. He's mobile. I-5 South, moving fast. How fast? 92. Running. Running to somebody. Vitti. That's my read, boss. Our boy's in front of him. 2 cars, 30 seconds out. Bring him in. Yes, boss. Tommy disappeared. Dominic turned to Sarah. Sarah. Yes, sir. I need you to do something for me. Yes, sir. Don't say yes before I ask it, sweetheart. Not to me. Not ever. Always make me say the thing first. Yes, sir. Good girl. What I need, Sarah, is for you to call him. Who, sir? Your brother. Now. Sir, I can't get him to pull over. I do not need you to get him to pull over. My men are about to do that. I need you to keep him on the phone for the next 4 minutes. I need him to hear his sister's voice at the exact moment my car pulls up alongside his. I need him to be talking to you, Sarah, not fighting me. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Can you do that? Yes, sir. Good girl. She pulled up his name. Her thumb shook over the green button. Sir, what do I say? Whatever you would say, Sarah. He is your baby brother. You know him better than I do. Say what a sister says. She pressed call. It rang. Once, twice, 3 times. On the 4th ring, her brother picked up. Sarah's knees almost went. Just the sound. The voice of the kid who had slept in her bed during thunderstorms. The voice of the kid who had held her hand at their mother's funeral. Mikey. Sar. Oh God. Sar. Mikey, where are you? Sar, I'm driving. Mikey, pull over. Sar, I can't. Sarah, they're coming. They're coming. Sar, you don't know. Mikey, who's coming? Everyone, Sarah. Everyone. I screwed up. I screwed up so bad. Mikey, listen to me. Sar. Mikey, the girl is alive. Silence, such a total silence, Sarah could hear the wipers of his car slapping across the glass on his end of the line. She's what? She's alive, Mikey. Sar, oh God, Sar, oh God. Michael, pull over. I can't. Sarah, they're gonna kill me. Mikey, nobody is gonna kill you. Do you hear me? Nobody is gonna kill you. I am here, Mikey. I am with. She looked at Dominic. Dominic nodded. I am with her father, Mikey. Her brother made a sound she had never heard a human being make before. A small, strangled boy's sound. A 26-year-old man in a car on an interstate who had just understood in 1 second that he had been caught. Oh God, Sarah. Mikey. Oh God, Sarah. Mikey, he's giving you a chance. Sar. He's giving you a chance, Mikey. I asked for it. I asked for your life, Mikey. I begged for it. And he said yes. Do you hear me? He said yes. But you have to pull over, Mikey. You have to pull over and you have to come with his men and you have to tell him the truth, every word of it. Do you hear me? Her brother was sobbing. Sir. Yes, baby. Sir, Daddy. Sarah's whole body jerked. What? Sir, Daddy working for him. So they told me what Daddy did. They told me, I know Mikey. You know, I know. Sir, oh God, sir, I thought I was going to get back at him. Sir, I thought they said Daddy died because of him. Sir, they said that Mikey, they said Daddy died because of him. And I was so mad, sir. I've been mad my whole life, sir. I know, baby. And then I saw her, Sarah, I saw her, and she was just some girl, sir. She was just this 19-year-old girl, and she was sweet. Sir, she was sweet, and I couldn't. And then tonight they said, all I had to do was, Mikey. Sir, I didn't put it in her. Sarah, I swear on Mom, I didn't. She did it herself. I brought it, and Mikey, pull over. Through the phone, Sarah heard another sound. A second engine, closer, a horn. Her brother cursed. Sir, there's a car. Mikey, pull over. It's them. It's his men. They're not going to hurt you. Sir, pull over, Mikey. Oh God, Sarah. A small squeal of tires, a rush of wind, the sound of a car slowing. Sir, yes, baby. Sir, am I going to see you? Sarah looked at Dominic. Dominic nodded. Yes, Mikey, you're going to see me. Soon? Soon, baby. Sir. Yes, Mikey. I'm so sorry. I know, baby. Tell Dad. I'm sorry, sir. Sarah closed her eyes. I will, Mikey. She heard through the line a car door open. A voice Tommy's calm, low professional. Son, step out of the car slowly. Hands where I can see them. Nobody is going to hurt you. Your sister sent us. Her brother was crying. Sar, are you there? I'm here, Mikey. Sar, I love you. I love you too, Mikey. Ow. The line went dead, not because Tommy had cut it, because her brother had hung up on her. Because her brother at 26 had, for the first time in his life, chosen to step out of the car on his own. Sarah lowered the phone. She did not cry. She had run out of crying. She just sat on the ripped vinyl booth in Benny's diner, with Dominic Cavello's handkerchief balled in her fist and Dominic Cavello's shoulder warm against hers. And she understood very clearly for the first time all night that her whole life, every single part of it, every house she had ever lived in, every check her mother had ever cashed, every birthday cake, every Christmas had been paid for somewhere down the chain by the man sitting next to her. Sir. Yes, Sarah. You bought me my bicycle when I was 10. I don't remember the bicycle, Sarah. A red Schwinn. Mom said it was from a church group. Dominic was silent for a moment. Your mother, he said, was a very proud woman. Sarah started to laugh. It came out broken. It turned into crying. It turned back into laughing. Dominic Cavello did not say anything. He simply very carefully put one arm around Sarah Mitchell's shoulders, the way a man puts an arm around a daughter, and he let her cry and laugh and cry in the back booth of Benny's diner, while outside in the rain his men were bringing her baby brother home. And that was the moment, although Sarah would not understand it for another 6 months, that she stopped being Thomas Mitchell's daughter and stopped being Michael Mitchell's sister and started being something else entirely. Something the city of Seattle did not yet have a word for. The doctor was the one who finally broke the silence in the booth. Boss, Dominic did not lift his arm from Sarah's shoulder. Talk. She's stable, but she needs a drip I don't have in this bag. And I want her off this vinyl. I want her in a real bed under lights with a monitor. If I can't get her there in the next 30 minutes, we are rolling dice. I don't want to roll. Then we move. Yes, boss. Sarah. Yes, sir. Stand up, sweetheart. She stood. Dominic stood with her. He did not take his arm away until she was steady. Then he looked at her, really looked, and Sarah saw him make a decision. You are coming with us. Sir. You are not going back to your apartment tonight, Sarah. You are not going anywhere tonight that is not with me. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Good girl. The car ride was 18 minutes of silence. Dominic sat in the back with Sarah on one side, and Sophia still unconscious, still tiny, still breathing in the slow, careful way of a girl pulled back from a cliff on the other. He held his daughter's hand the whole way. He did not let go once. Sarah watched him from the corner of her eye, watch his daughter breathe. At one point, her phone buzzed in her pocket. She froze. Dominic noticed. He always noticed. What? Sir, Sarah. She pulled it out. One message. Unknown number. 3 words. Run, Sarah. Please. She handed it to him without speaking. Dominic read it. He read it twice. Then strangely, he smiled. A small, sad, almost fond smile. Your brother. Sir. That's from your brother, Sarah. A burner he kept in his sock. My men already pulled one phone off him. He typed this on the second one while they were cuffing him, knowing full well we would see it. Your brother just used his last free act as a man to try to save his sister. Sarah's eyes filled again. Oh, Mikey. Yes, Sarah, your brother loves you. I told you he did. Some men don't, you know. Some brothers don't. Yours does. Remember this moment. You are going to need to remember it sometime in the next year when you are very, very angry with him. Yes, sir. He handed the phone back to her. Don't answer. No, sir. Good girl. Jim. The house did not look like a house. It looked like a small hotel. Gate. 3 stories. A man with a clipboard at the entrance. 2 more men passed him with bulges under their coats. Sarah chose not to look at directly. Inside was warm. Inside smelled impossibly like garlic and tomato and coffee and something baking, as if there were a kitchen somewhere in this house that simply never closed. Not for rain, not for midnight, not for a dying daughter. A woman in her 60s came out of a doorway. Rosary around her left wrist, hands dusted with flour. She took one look at Sarah, and her face went soft. Oh, baby. Gianna, Dominic said. This is Sarah. She saved Sophia's life tonight. Gianna crossed herself. Then, without asking permission, she pulled Sarah into a hug that smelled like laundry soap and oregano, in safety. Oh, Tesora. Maya, you come with me. Right now. No, you don't argue with me. Warm clothes, hot soup. You eat and then you sit, and you don't say one word tonight. Do you hear me? Tomorrow is for talking. Tonight is for eating. Andiamo. Sarah had not been hugged like that since her mother died. Her whole body locked up for 1/2 second, and then without her permission, collapsed. She cried into this stranger's shoulder like a child. Gianna just held her, said nothing. Rocked a little the way an Italian grandmother rocks. Dominic watched for a moment, face unreadable, and then turned and walked down the hall without a word. 20 minutes later, Sarah was wearing flannel pajamas 2 sizes too big. Her hair was toweled. There was chicken stock in front of her that she had not asked for. And somewhere upstairs, a doctor was setting up a drip for Sofia Cavello. And somewhere in the basement, Sarah's brother was sitting in a room with a table and a chair, and a man named Tommy. She made it 3 spoonfuls in before she set the spoon down. Gianna, where is he? The boss is upstairs with the girl. No, my brother. Gianna's face did not change, but something behind her eyes did. Downstairs, Tesora. Is he hurt? Gianna did not answer. Gianna. Sarah Mangia. Gianna, please. He's alive, sweetheart. That is the only answer I'm going to give you tonight. Now eat your soup before I feed it to you with a spoon. And I am old, but I am strong. Do not test me. Sarah laughed. It cracked on the way up, and she could not believe she still had a laugh in her body. Gianna watched her laugh and smiled a small, sad smile. And for one moment, Sarah understood that this woman had seen other women cry in this kitchen and had made other women laugh and had fed other women who had stumbled into the Cavello house the way wounded animals stumble into barns. Sarah picked the spoon back up. She got halfway through the bowl. Then Dominic was in the doorway. Sarah. She stood so fast the bench squeaked. Sir. Sophia is awake. Sarah's hand flew to her mouth. Oh, thank God. She is weak. She is confused. She is asking for the woman who pulled her out of the rain. Sir, She wants to thank you, Sarah. I don't need, come. No. Sophia was propped up in a bed that was bigger than Sarah's whole living room. Her hair had been brushed. There was color, real color back in her face. An IV line ran from her arm to a bag on a stand. She looked to Sarah like a tiny girl in an ocean of pillows. She looked 19. She looked suddenly like somebody's little sister. Her eyes found Sarah and they filled immediately. Hi, sweetheart. You're the one who, my name's Sarah. Sophia started to cry. Not dramatic, not loud, just a steady, quiet kind of cry that broke Sarah's heart wide open. Come here, Sophia whispered. Sarah looked at Dominic. He nodded once. She crossed the room and sat on the edge of the bed. Sophia reached for her hand. Her fingers were cold and small, and she gripped Sarah's hand the way a child grips her mother's hand at the edge of a pool. I don't remember, Sophia said. I don't remember anything. That's okay, honey. I was somewhere, and then I was in the car, and then Daddy says you found me. Daddy says you saved me. I just got lucky, sweetheart. You did the hard part. You held on. Sarah. Yes, honey. Why were you in that alley? Sarah opened her mouth to answer and paused, because the question wasn't really why were you in the alley, it was something else. Sophia's eyes, those huge, wet 19-year-old eyes, were searching Sarah's face for something. I worked there, honey. I was taking out the trash. Just taking out the trash. Just taking out the trash. Sophia closed her eyes. Tears ran down both sides of her face. Daddy, she whispered. Yes, baby. Daddy, what happened to me? We'll talk later, Topolina. Rest now. Daddy, who gave it to me? The room went still. Dominic crossed to the bed. He sat on the other side of it. He took his daughter's other hand. He looked at Sarah over the top of his daughter's head, and for 1 second, Sarah saw very clearly the war inside him. We'll talk later, he said softer. Daddy. Sleep, Topolina. Was it him? Sleep. Daddy, don't hurt him. Dominic's jaw locked. Sleep, baby. Daddy, I love you, Sophia. Sleep. She was out in 15 seconds. For a long minute, neither Sarah nor Dominic moved. Both of them holding a hand of the same sleeping girl. Both of them listening to her breathe. Finally, without looking up, Dominic said, She knows. Sir. She knows who gave it to her, Sarah, and she is going to protect him. Even now. Sarah did not answer. Your brother, Dominic said softly, made a 19-year-old girl fall in love with him. That is a separate crime from the one I am about to punish him for. And in some ways, Sarah, it is the worst one. She stared at Sophia's face, at the tear track drying on her cheek, at the way her fingers had curled even in sleep tighter around Sarah's hand. Sir. Yes, Sarah. I need to see him now. Dominic looked at her for a long moment. Then he nodded once. All right. The basement of the Covello house was not what Sarah had been expecting. No dungeon, no chains, a finished room, beige carpet, a table, 2 chairs, and her baby brother sitting in one of them with his hands flat on the tabletop and a bruise blooming across his left cheekbone. His head came up when the door opened. His eyes found hers. Sar. Sarah's legs moved on their own. She was halfway across the room before Dominic's hand closed gently around her elbow. Sarah. Sir, please. You can sit with him. You cannot touch him. Not yet. Those are the rules. Not if you understand. She nodded. Dominic let her go. Sarah sat down across from her brother. She had not seen him in 8 months. He had gotten thinner, older. There was a scruff on his jaw that wasn't there the last time, and his eyes were the eyes of a man who had not slept in 3 days. Mikey. Sar. Mikey, tell me the truth, all of it, right now in front of him. The truth, Mikey. His face crumpled. Just like that. The whole thing. Sar, I didn't know it was gonna be that much. I swear to God. I swear to God. I thought it was supposed to just make her sleepy. That's what Ray said. That's all he said. Just enough to... Ray, Dominic said from the wall. Yes, sir. Ray who? Ray Delgado, sir. I don't know his real name. We just called him Ray. He works for Mr. Vitti, sir. He's the one who ran me. Go on. Sir, they came to me like 6 months ago. They knew everything about me. They knew I was broke. They knew my sister was working 3 shifts. They knew about my dad. Sarah's head came up. Mikey. Sir, they told me Daddy worked for him. He jerked his chin at Dominic. They told me Daddy died because of him. They said there was a warehouse, something with a warehouse, that a daddy was supposed to be there that night, and he wasn't, and he got blamed, and he never got over it. And that's why daddy drank SAR. That's what they said. That's what they, Mikey. SAR, they said our whole life was because of him. Michael, stop, breathe. He stopped. Sarah looked at Dominic. Dominic was not looking at her. He was looking at the floor. His jaw was tight. Sarah had known this man for 4.5 hours, and she had learned in that time to read one particular expression on his face, the expression he wore when someone was about to die. This was not that expression. This was the expression underneath that one. This was grief. Sir, she said softly. Yes, Sarah. The warehouse. I know the warehouse, Sarah. Was what Ray told him. Partly true, mostly not. Your father was supposed to be at that warehouse. Yes, I sent him home that night because he had a 12-year-old daughter with the flu. You, Sarah, your father did not die because of me. Your father lived an extra 4 years because of me. But I do understand how a clever man could turn that story inside out for a 26-year-old kid who had been drinking. Michael's face had gone gray. Wait. Nobody spoke. Wait. Sir, you were the one who, I was the one son, yes. Daddy was home the night of the warehouse because of Sarah. Yes, son. Because Sarah had the flu. Yes, son. Michael Mitchell looked at his sister across the table. His face did something Sarah would remember for the rest of her life. It did the face of a 26-year-old man who had just realized in one single second that he had spent the last 6 months of his life believing a story that was the exact opposite of the truth. Sar. Mikey. Sar, Mikey, just keep going. Tell him the rest. All of it. He kept going. He told them about the parties. About the first time Ray had handed him a set of car keys and said, "It's yours, kid, enjoy." About the second time and the third. About the night Ray had shown him a photograph of a blonde girl coming out of a coffee shop near the University of Washington and said, "That one. Get close to that one. Nice and slow. 3 months tops. Don't rush it." He told them about Sophia, about the first coffee, the second coffee, the walk by the water, the movie, the way she had looked at him, he said, like I was somebody. Sarah, she looked at me like I was somebody. He told them about the pills, about the first time he had given her one, about the 10th, about the way she had started asking for them, about the way 6 weeks ago Ray had handed him a small glass vial and a clean syringe and had said, when we need it to happen, it happens. Until then, sit on it. Do not use it. Do not touch it. Keep it in your glove box. When I call you, you bring it to her. You understand me, and tonight, Dominic said quietly. Tonight, sir, he called me. Tonight, he said the meeting was tonight. He said you were going to a dinner at a restaurant downtown. He said Sophia was going to be at a party at a condo on Harbor Island. He said all I had to do was bring her the stuff, let her do her thing and leave. Leave? Yes, sir. And then he said there'd be people coming to the condo after. Cleaners, he called them. He said to not call an ambulance. He said to not call anybody. He said just leave her and go and they'd handle it. Handle it how? He didn't say, sir. Think, Michael. I think. I think they were going to film her, sir. The whole room stopped. Sarah's hand went to her mouth. Film her, Dominic said very carefully. Yes, sir. I think they wanted a tape of her like that in the condo with stuff around her, maybe with me, sir. I don't know. I didn't see any cameras, but he said the story would tell itself. That's what he said. The story will tell itself. I think they wanted a tape, sir, of the Covello girl high in a strange condo, half dressed, with a nobody boyfriend, Dominic finished. Yes, sir. And then they would have made sure that tape ended up on every news desk in this city by noon. Yes, sir. And my daughter would have been dead by then. Yes, sir. And you, son, what did they promise you? Sir, what did they promise you, Michael? Michael Mitchell looked down at the table. He swallowed. When he spoke, his voice was the voice of a little boy. They said I could live, sir. That's it. They said I could live. They said if I did this one thing I was out, debts cleared free and clear. They said I could go anywhere. They said they'd even give me a little money, enough to start over. They said I could send for my sister. Sarah made a small noise. Michael did not look up. They said all I had to do, he said very quietly, was give them one night. Dominic Cavello closed his eyes. For a long time, nobody said anything. When Dominic opened his eyes, they were clear, cold, decided. Michael. Yes, sir. Look at me, son. Michael looked up. You are alive tonight because of your sister. You are alive tonight because of a waitress who pulled my daughter out of the rain. You are alive tonight because I am a man who keeps his word. I am going to tell you 4 things now, and you are going to listen to all 4. Nod. Michael nodded. First, you are going to help me. You are going to call Ray right now, tonight, from this room. You are going to tell him you dumped the girl. You panicked. You ran. You need an extraction. You are going to make him believe you. You are going to let him tell you where to go and who to meet and what to bring. Every word of that conversation is going to be recorded, and every name he gives us is going to be a name we own by sunrise. Nod. Michael nodded. Second, after that you are going to disappear. My men are going to take you to a place you have never heard of. You are going to live there for as long as I say. No phone, no girls, no family, no sister. You will have a bed, 3 meals, and a door that locks from the outside. You will think of it as a long time out, Michael. You will think of it as the thing standing between you and a grave. Nod. Michael nodded. Third, if you ever in the rest of your natural life lift a finger against your sister, if you call her, if you write her without my permission, if you show up at her door drunk and crying, if you drag her into one more thing, Michael, I will not kill you. I will do something much, much worse. I will send her away from you. Forever. To a country you cannot find on a map. With a new name. And I will make sure you spend the rest of your life looking for a sister you are never going to see again. Do you understand me, son? Michael nodded. He was crying now, hard. Fourth, Michael. Yes, sir. Your father was a good man. Michael's face broke. Your father was a good man, son. He worked for me for 12 years, and I never caught him in a lie, not one. He told me once over a beer at the pier that the best thing he had ever done in his life was his daughter. He said it like a man who had thought about it. He said it like a man who knew. He did not say it about you, Michael. I am sorry, he did not. But he did say one other thing that night. Son, and I am going to tell it to you now because I think tonight is the night you need to hear it. He said, my boy is not ready yet, but he is going to be somebody. He just needs time. Do you hear me, Michael? Michael's whole body was shaking. Yes, sir. Your father's son believed in you. I did not know you. He did. And now you are going to spend the rest of your life deciding whether he was right or wrong. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. Good. Dominic looked at Sarah. Sarah. Yes, sir. Stand up. She stood. You may touch him now. Sarah Mitchell walked around the table and put her arms around her baby brother's shoulders and pressed her forehead to the top of his head and did not say a word for a full minute. Michael wept into her pajama sleeve. She did not cry. She had run out of crying. She just held him. She rocked him a little the way her mother used to rock him, the way Gianna had an hour before rocked her. Then very quietly she pulled back and she kissed him on the top of the head and she said, do what he says, Mikey, every word. You owe me that. I know, Sar. I love you, Mikey. I love you too, Sar. Make the call. Yeah, Sarah. She walked back to Dominic. He did not take her hand. He did not need to. He simply opened the door for her the way a man opens a door for someone he has decided is with him now. Tommy came in with a phone and a small recorder. Sarah and Dominic climbed the stairs together. At the top, Dominic stopped. He looked at her. Sarah. Yes, sir. You did well. Sir. You did well, Sarah. Do not argue with me. Say thank you. Thank you, sir. Good girl. Gianna was waiting in the hall. Brennan, rosary, warm, grandmotherly face. She opened her arms, and Sarah Mitchell, waitress, sister survivor, not yet Covello, walked into them. Come to Sora. Come. You sleep a little now. Gianna, I can't, You sleep a little, sweetheart, or I put something in your tea. Your choice. Come. Sarah went. Dominic watched them go. He stood at the top of the basement stairs with his hand on the banister and a small, cold thought starting at the back of his skull. A thought he did not yet have a name for, but that had started the moment Ray's voice had echoed in his head one more time. Our friend in your father's house. Not my house, Ray had said. Your father's house. And Dominic Covello, who had not thought about his father's old house in 11 years, turned very slowly and looked down the long hallway of the Covello safe house. At Gianna's back, at the rosary moving in her wrist, and his hand on the banister very slowly tightened. Dominic Covello did not move for a full 10 seconds. He stood at the top of the basement stairs with his hand on the banister and watched the old woman who had raised his daughter walk down the hall with her arm around the waitress who had saved her. Gianna's voice floated back, soft, warm Calabrian, a little song about a sparrow she had sung at Sophia's crib 20 years ago. He closed his eyes. He opened them. He let go of the banister. Tommy! From the basement, Tommy's voice came up through the open door. Yes, boss? Come up. The kid's still on the phone, boss. Let Vincent finish the call. You come up. On it. Tommy was at the top of the stair in 15 seconds. He did not speak. Tommy had worked for Dominic Covello for 23 years, and in 23 years, Tommy had learned the difference between the silences of his boss. This was the quiet one, the one before something terrible. Boss. Tommy. Yes, boss. How long has Gianna worked in this house? Tommy's face did not change, but his breath went a fraction slower. 17 years, boss. Who brought her in? Your father, boss. When? 89, maybe 90? Why? Boss said, why Tommy? Tommy was quiet for a long moment. She was the widow of Nico Bellomo, boss, from the warehouse. Your father brought her in because he felt he owed her. Dominic closed his eyes again, opened them. The warehouse in Tacoma. Yes, boss. 38 years ago. Yes, boss. My father killed her husband. Yes, boss. And then he hired her. Yes, boss. And she said yes. Yes, boss. She said yes. She said she needed the work. She had 2 kids. She said she forgave your father. She went to mass with him for 10 years after that, boss. Every Sunday, same pew. She brought the girl Sophia her first rosary when Sophia was 6. Tommy. Yes, boss. She is the one. Tommy did not answer for a long second. Boss, I don't. Tommy, think. Who in this house has had access to Sophia's calendar for the last 6 months? A lot of people, boss. Who has had access to her phone? Silence. Ashiman. Tommy. Gianna, boss. She cleans the girl's room. She picks it up from the charger. Who drove her to school on Tuesdays? Boss. Who drove her, Tommy? Gianna, boss. Sometimes Gianna, when Tony had the day off. And who in this house, Tommy, is the only person who has not once in 17 years asked me for anything? Not a raise, not a new car, not a day off, not a nephew on the payroll. Nothing. Tommy did not answer. He did not need to. Boss? Tell me I am wrong, Tommy. Boss, I cannot. Tell me I am wrong and I will take it back. Right now, I will take it back and I will say it was a bad night and an old man's bad thought. Tell me, Tommy. Tommy's mouth worked. Boss, I cannot tell you you are wrong. Dominic exhaled, one long, slow breath, like a building settling after an earthquake. Okay, Tommy. Boss, get Vincent to finish the call with Ray. Keep the kid downstairs. Lock that door. Then you and I are going to go upstairs and check on my daughter. And we are going to pass Gianna in the hall, and we are going to smile at her, and we are going to say good morning. Do you understand me? Yes, boss. And then, Tommy, after my daughter is asleep again, you and I are going to have a small conversation with the woman who raised her. Yes, boss. Tommy. Yes, boss. Do not make a face right now. Do not shift your shoulders. Do not look sad. Gianna has survived in this house for 17 years, Tommy. She will smell it on you if you let her. Smile, Tommy. Tommy Marino smiled. It was the worst smile Dominic had ever seen on a human face. Better. Yes, boss. Come. Jaim. They passed Gianna in the hall. She was coming out of the guest room where she had just put Sarah down. She looked up. She smiled. She touched Dominic's sleeve very briefly the way she had touched his sleeve for 17 years. She's sleeping, capo. The poor thing went out like a light. I gave her a little chamomile. Good, Gianna, thank you. You capo. You look terrible. It's been a night, Gianna. I will bring coffee to the girls' room in 10 minutes, Strong, like your mother made it. That would be very kind of you, Gianna, thank you. Di niente, capo. She patted his sleeve. She walked on. Tommy did not breathe until she turned the corner. Then he exhaled like a man who had been underwater. Jesus, boss. Steady, Tommy. Boss, she is going to bring coffee. Yes, Tommy. Boss, if she brings coffee to that room. Yes, Tommy, I know. Boss, she is going to poison my girl. No, Tommy. Boss, she is not going to because we are not going to let her. Sophia was still asleep when they slipped into her room. Dominic sat on the edge of the bed. He did not wake her. He laid the back of his hand against her cheek, just for a second, the way a man feels a baby for fever. She was warm. She was breathing. She was alive. He looked at Tommy. New plan. Yes, boss. Go wake Sarah. Quietly. Tell her nothing. Bring her here. Put her in that chair. He pointed to the armchair beside the bed. Tell her she is sitting with Sophia for 2 hours while I handle some business. Tell her Jana will be outside the door with a gun. Tell her everything is fine. Boss, Tommy, do it. Boss, you want the old woman outside the door. I want the old woman exactly where she thinks she is winning Tommy. I want her to believe I trust her. I want her to believe I have given her the waitress and the princess in one room on a silver platter while I am 3 floors down talking to the boy. I want her to make her move Tommy because only then will I know for certain. Boss, if she makes a move while Sarah is in this room, then we will be in this room too. Tommy blinked. Boss. In the closet, Tommy. Boss. I will be in the closet of my daughter's room with a gun in my hand, Tommy. You will be under the bed. When Gianna comes in with that tray, we will let her walk to it, and we will let her set it down, and we will let her speak. If she tries to leave, we let her. If she tries to hurt my daughter or the waitress, we do not. Boss, this is Tommy. Yes, boss. I raised that girl next to this woman for 17 years. I am not going to shoot her in the hallway on a maybe, Tommy. I am going to give her the chance to tell me I am wrong. I own her that much. I owe my father that much. Tommy swallowed. Yes, boss. Go get Sarah. Sarah came in blinking in flannel pajamas 2 sizes too big, with sleep still crusted on one cheek. Sir. Sarah, sweetheart, I am sorry to wake you. Sir, she is Sophia. Sophia is fine. Sophia is right there. I need you to sit with her. Yes, sir. I need you to sit in that chair and hold her hand. I need you to read or pray or just breathe. For 2 hours. That is all. Can you do that? Yes, sir. Good girl. Sir, yes, Sarah. Is something wrong? Dominic Cavello looked at her for a moment. He chose his words. Sarah, I am going to ask you to trust me for 2 hours. Yes, sir. And I am going to tell you one thing that you must not react to, not with your face, not with your voice, not with your body. Can you do that? Yes, sir. Jana is going to come into this room in about 8 minutes with a tray, a pot of coffee, 2 cups. Do you hear me, Sarah? Yes, sir. You will not drink the coffee, Sarah. Sarah's hands did not move. Her face did not move. She blinked once. Yes, sir. Good girl. Sir. Yes, Sarah. Is she? Yes, Sarah. Oh, God, sir. Sarah, look at me. She looked. In this room, Sarah, right now, there are 3 people I love. My daughter, the woman who saved her, and myself. The woman who is about to walk through that door loves 2 of those 3 people too. It is a very strange thing, sweetheart. You will meet women like this in your life. Women who love and plan to kill in the same afternoon. It is, I am sorry to tell you, not uncommon. Sir. Sit down, Sarah. Hold my daughter's hand. Do not drink the coffee. That is all. Yes, sir. I will be in the closet, Sarah. Tommy will be under the bed. You will not be alone. Not for 1 second. Do you hear me? Yes, sir. Good girl. He kissed the top of her head. The gesture surprised both of them. He paused one beat as if he had not meant to. Then he straightened, turned, and walked into the closet as if it were a perfectly normal thing for a man to walk into the closet of his daughter's bedroom. Tommy slid under the bed. The door closed. Sarah Mitchell sat in the armchair and took Sofia Cavello's hand and said a small, quiet prayer. She did not know she still knew. 7 minutes and 40 seconds later, there was a soft knock on the door. Tesora, it is Gianna. I bring coffee. Come in, Gianna. The door opened. Gianna came in with a silver tray, 2 cups, a small pot, a little dish of cookies. She smiled at Sarah the way she had smiled in the kitchen 2 hours ago, soft, grandmotherly, the smile of a woman who had folded laundry for 17 years and said the rosary every night. Oh, Tesora, you look so tired. You should be in bed. The boss asked me to sit with her. Ah, he is worried, the poor man. Of course. Here, you drink. You need it. It is his mother's recipe. Strong, sweet, 1 cup, and you will not be tired anymore. She set the tray on the little table next to the armchair. She poured 1 cup, she held it out, or took it. Her hand did not shake. Sarah Mitchell was 31 years old, and she had just discovered, under the most extreme circumstances of her life, that she was a very, very good liar. Thank you, Gianna. Of course, Tesora. Gianna poured the 2nd cup. She sat down, she crossed herself. She said softly and without looking at Sarah, drink, sweetheart. Sarah lifted the cup to her lips, did not drink, lowered the cup. Gianna. Yes, Tesora. You were very kind to me tonight. Of course, sweetheart. You hugged me in the hallway. Of course, you called me Tesora. Because you are. Sarah set the cup down. She looked at the old woman across from her. Gianna. Yes, sweetheart. Why are you doing this? Gianna did not move. For a long second, the only sound in the room was Sofia's slow, steady breathing and the little clock on the nightstand. Then very slowly, Gianna reached into the pocket of her apron, and the door of the closet opened. Don't, Gianna. The old woman froze with her hand in her pocket. Dominic Cavello stepped out of the closet with a small black pistol held low at his hip. He did not point it at her. He did not need to. Take your hand out, Gianna. Dominic. Slowly. Dominic, please. Take your hand out. She took her hand out. It was empty. On the table, Gianna. Dominic. On the table, Gianna. Very slowly, the old woman laid her hands flat on the little table next to the coffee tray. Dominic crossed the room. He did not lower the pistol. He stopped 3 feet from her. Tommy? From under the bed, Tommy slid out, rose, and drew his own weapon in one smooth, practiced motion. He circled behind the old woman and with a gentleness that almost broke Sarah's heart, lifted a small pistol out of the back waistband of Gianna's apron and a tiny glass vial out of the front pocket. He held the vial up to the light. Clear liquid, boss. Same as the needle in the alley. Boss, this vial would have killed the girl, the waitress, and a grown man in 120 seconds. Gianna's hands did not shake. Her mouth did not tremble. She looked up at Dominic, and her face had very quietly become the face that had been hiding under Gianna's face for 38 years. You knew. I knew, Gianna. How long? 10 minutes. 10 minutes, she almost smiled. That is not bad, Dominic. Your father would have taken an hour. My father was a gentler man than I am, Gianna. Your father was a murderer, Dominic. Yes, he was. He killed my husband. Yes, he did. He left my son without a father. Yes. He hired me to scrub his kitchen the week after. Yes, Gianna. And I took the job, Dominic. I took the job because I had 2 children and no money, and because your father was a man who thought money could buy a widow's silence. And for 17 years, Dominic, he was right. And for another 17 years after him, you were right. Gianna. 38 years, Dominic. 38 years I braided her hair. 38 years I made her pasta. 38 years I kissed her goodnight. And in all of those 38 years, Dominic, in all of them, I was waiting. Waiting for what, Gianna? For her, for the girl, for the one thing in the Cavello house that you love more than you love your own life. Gianna, I was never going to let her live, Dominic. Not from the day she was born. I held her on the day of her baptism and I kissed her forehead and I said, this one little girl, you are the one who will pay for my Nico. I said it in Italian so your father would not understand. He was standing right next to me. Sarah's hand had gone over her mouth. Dominic did not move. And tonight, Gianna. Tonight I called Salvatore Dominic. Yes, I have called him for 7 years, every Sunday after Mass. He and I have been planning this night since your daughter was 12. Vitti gave me the boy. I gave Vitti the girl. It was going to be very, very clean, Dominic. A tape, a scandal, a broken father, a dead princess, and the old cook who cried at the funeral and brought the sandwiches. Gianna. Yes, Dominic. Why are you telling me this now? She looked at him with eyes that had shed their softness the way a snake sheds a skin. Because Dominic, my son, is getting on a plane in Rome in 20 minutes. In 6 hours, he is going to be in Brazil. In 8 hours, he is going to be with his sister. My children, Dominic, are getting out of reach of your men tonight, whether I live or die. I have already won. I lost the girl, but I won my children. Your father took mine from me. I was going to take yours from you. I did not. Fine, but you will never touch my son, and you will never touch my daughter. Because your father's mistake, Dominic, the real one, was that he let me go to Mass with you for 38 years. It gave me time to plan, and I am a very, very patient woman. The room was silent. Dominic Cavello looked at the old woman who had braided his daughter's hair, and then very quietly he lowered the pistol. Gianna. Yes, Dominic. Get up. Dominic. Get up, Gianna. She rose slowly. Tommy. Yes, boss. Downstairs, the small room, the one next to the boy. Boss. Do not hurt her. Not one finger, not one slap. I want her exactly as she is. Give her a glass of water if she asks for one. Sit with her. Do not speak to her. I will be down in 20 minutes. Yes, boss. Gianna. Yes, Dominic. If your son gets on that plane, Gianna, I will know within the hour. If he gets to Brazil, I will know within the day. If your daughter is in the building she thinks she is in, I will know before breakfast. Do you understand me? For the first time all night, the old woman's face cracked. Just a little. Just around the mouth. Dominic, please, Gianna. Please. I am a father, Gianna. Do you remember? You taught me what that word meant. You sat next to me in the hospital when my wife was dying. You held my hand. Do you remember that? Dominic, I am not going to kill your children, Gianna. The old woman's whole face collapsed. What? I am not going to kill your children. Do you hear me? I am not that man. I am not my father. I am going to let them live. Tonight, tomorrow, forever. Your son will land in Brazil. Your daughter will graduate. Your grandchildren, if you ever have them, will grow up and go to school and marry badly and divorce and have children of their own, and not one of them will ever hear the name Cavello. That is what I am giving you, Gianna. Dominic? But you, Gianna. Yes. You are going to spend the rest of your life in a very small room. She closed her eyes. Yes, Dominic. You are going to live. Do you understand me? You are going to live a long time. You are going to get old in that room. You are going to eat 3 meals a day in that room. You are going to say your rosary in that room. And at night, Gianna, when you cannot sleep, you are going to think about the fact that I let your children go. And you are going to understand finally that my father was not my father, and that your revenge is over. The old woman's mouth worked. A sound came out. It was not a word. It was not in any language. Tommy took her very gently by the elbow. Come on, ma'am, he said quietly. She went. The door closed behind them. Sarah Mitchell was crying. She had not realized she was crying. The tears were just falling. Dominic set the pistol down on the little table. He did not look at Sarah. He sat down on the edge of his daughter's bed. He put his face in his hands. He did not cry. But for a very long minute, he did not move. Then, without lifting his face, he said, Sarah. Yes, sir. Come here. She stood up. She crossed the room. She sat down on the bed next to him. She did not know she would never know who reached first. She only knew that her head was on his shoulder and his arm was around her back, and they were both watching his daughter breathe in the lamplight at 4:47 in the morning, and that Sarah Mitchell, who had walked into that alley 6 hours ago, a waitress with a dying stranger in her lap, had somewhere between the closet and the coffee pot become a woman Dominic Cavello could not and would not ever let go of. Sarah. Yes, sir. Call me Dominic. She closed her eyes. Dominic. Good girl. Outside, somewhere down a long hallway, a door closed on an old woman forever. And inside, a father and a waitress sat side by side and watched a girl sleep. They sat like that for a long time. Sarah did not know how long. The lamp was soft. Sophia's breathing was steady. Dominic Cavello's shoulder was warm under her cheek. And for the first time in 6 years, the first time since her mother had died in a county hospital bed with a rosary in her hand, Sarah Mitchell did not feel like she was holding the whole world up alone. After a while, Dominic spoke. Sarah. Yes. Call me Dominic. I am, sir. He laughed. One soft syllable. The first real laugh she had heard out of him. You said sir at the end. Sorry. Don't apologize, sweetheart. I am not offended. I am enjoying it a little. Dominic. Good girl. Dong. Somewhere around 5:15, Tommy came to the door. He did not knock. He did not have to. Dominic had been waiting for that small shift in the air for the last 10 minutes. Boss? Talk, Tommy. The call. The kid made the call. Ray bit boss, bit hard. He gave us an address on Harbor Island. He gave us 2 names and he gave us a pickup time. 6:45 this morning, they were going to meet the kid with a boat. A boat? Yes, boss. They were going to take the kid out to the sound, boss. They were going to put him in the water. Sarah made a small sound. She did not mean to. Dominic's arm tightened once around her shoulder and loosened again. Tommy. Yes, boss. You have the address. Yes, boss. You have the names. Yes, boss. Send Vincent, send Paulie, send the 2 new boys. I want every person who is going to be on that boat in cuffs. Our cuffs, Tommy, not the cities, by 6:30, before the boat ever leaves the dock. I want the boat too. I want it in my name by noon. Yes, boss. And Tommy. Yes, boss. Just boss. Ray. Yes, boss. Ray is going to meet the kid at 6:45 himself, or he is going to send somebody. Yes, boss. Whoever Ray sends Tommy, whoever Ray sends, not Ray himself. I want Ray walking around free in Seattle tomorrow morning thinking he got away with it. I want him eating his breakfast. I want him reading his paper. I want him at his favorite cafe on Pike Place, Tommy not suspecting a thing. Because Tommy Ray is not for today. Ray is for next week. Do you understand me? Yes, boss. Ray is going to watch the news for 7 days, and he is going to see nothing about this. No bodies, no arrests, no tape, no scandal, nothing. And on the 7th day, Tommy Ray is going to start to understand. Yes, boss. Go. Tommy went out him. Dominic did not move for a minute. Then he turned his head and looked at Sarah. Sophia will wake up soon? Yes. She is going to see you first, Sarah. Not me, not a nurse. You, because you are the face she asked for in her sleep, and I am not going to take that from her. Dominic. I am going to go downstairs. I am going to speak with Jonna one more time. And then I am going to speak with your brother. And then I am going to come back up here, Sarah, and I am going to find the 3 of you awake. Do you understand me? Yes. Good girl. He stood up. He did not let go of her hand right away. He held it for one more second, looked at her, and with a small, tired human smile that she had not yet seen on his face, kissed the back of her knuckles. Then he left. Sophia Cavello woke up at 5:43 in the morning. Her eyelids fluttered. She made a small sound. Sarah was on her feet before the second sound came out. Hey, honey. Hey, I'm here. I'm right here. Sarah. Yeah, sweetheart. It's me. Sophia's eyes opened. They were clear this time, not the clouded, drifting, drugged eyes of 3 hours ago. Clear. 19. Present. Sarah. Yeah, honey. Is he alive? Sarah blinked. Who, honey? The boy, Michael. Is he alive? Sarah's throat closed. Yes, Sophia, he's alive. Does Daddy have him? Daddy has him. Is Daddy going to hurt him? No, sweetheart. Why not? The question stopped Sarah cold. It was not asked the way a girl in love asks it. It was asked the way a woman newly grown up in the space of one night asks it. Because Sarah's voice was steady, and she did not know where the steadiness came from. Because your father is a better man than the story, sweetheart. And because I asked him not to. Sophia's eyes filled. He was going to let me die, Sarah. I know, honey. He left me in the rain. I know. He kissed me on Tuesday, and on Friday he was going to let me die. I know, sweetheart, I know. Sophia began very quietly to cry. Not the broken crying of 3 hours ago, the cleaner, slower crying of a girl who had in her sleep finished understanding something. Sarah. Yeah, honey. Don't leave me today. I won't. Promise me. I promise, honey. Promise me on something. Sarah reached up and unclasped the little silver chain around her own neck. The one her mother had left her. She took it off. She laid it across Sophia's palm. I promise you on my mother's cross, Sophia Cavello. Sophia closed her fingers around it. Okay. Okay, honey. They sat like that, a 19-year-old girl and a 31-year-old waitress, neither of whom had 6 hours ago known. The other existed with their hands folded over a small silver cross until Dominic Cavello came back into the room. He stopped in the doorway. He saw them. He did not speak for a moment. Then he crossed to the bed and sat down on the other side of his daughter and took her free hand in both of his, and he said very quietly, Topolina. Daddy. I am here, baby. Daddy, I did something. I know, baby. Daddy, I did a lot of things. I know, baby. Daddy, are you mad at me? Dominic Cavello. The man the mayor pretended did not exist. The man 2 federal prosecutors had failed to put away. The man who had 12 minutes ago sent an old woman to a very small room, forever lifted his daughter's hand to his mouth, pressed his forehead to her knuckles and whispered, No, Topolina, I am not mad at you. Daddy, I am grateful, baby. Grateful. You are alive, Sophia. There is nothing on this earth that I am not grateful for this morning. Do you hear me? Yes, Daddy. Now listen to me, baby. I'm going to tell you some things today, and some of them are going to be very hard to hear. About a boy, about Gianna, about the pills you have been taking, about how many people in the last 6 months have been using you to get to me. Are you ready? No, Daddy. That's okay, baby. I'll wait. Daddy. Yes, baby. Is Sarah staying? Dominic's eyes lifted. They found Sarah's across the bed. That, he said softly, is a question for Sarah. Sophia turned her head on the pillow. Sarah. Yes, honey. Are you staying? Sarah Mitchell had not slept in 23 hours. She had crossed a city in a black car. She had watched an old woman point a gun at a 19-year-old girl's head. She had kissed her baby brother goodbye for at least 5 years. She had been called sweetheart in Tesora and good girl in the same night by 3 different people in 3 different ways. She looked at the girl in the bed. She looked at the man across the bed. I am staying, honey. Sophia closed her eyes and let out a breath. Okay, Sarah. Okay, honey. No. That was November 7th. They moved her out of the safe house at 9 in the morning. They drove her in a second quiet convoy to a private medical wing in a hospital whose name was not on any public directory. The doctor, whose name Sarah never learned, said Sophia would need 2 weeks of monitoring, 6 weeks of quiet, and the rest of her life of staying the hell away from anything that came in a pill or a powder or a vial. Sophia, when she heard this, nodded and said yes, sir, in the same small voice she had used as a child when Dominic had caught her stealing cookies. Sarah did not go home. Her apartment, she would find out 3 days later, had been entered quietly at 4 in the morning on November 7th by 2 men she did not know. Every piece of mail had been reviewed. Every closet had been checked. Her passport had been found in the bottom of a shoebox and photographed. Her clothes had been packed neatly into 3 suitcases and driven to a new apartment she had not yet seen. Her rent at the old apartment was paid through the end of the year. Her resignation letter at Benny's Diner had been hand-delivered by a man in a long coat at 11 a.m., along with a final check large enough to make Benny cry. Benny's Diner, Sarah learned later, was closed for renovations for 6 weeks. When it reopened, it had a new grill, a new roof, and a new sign. The old vinyl booth in the back, the one with the rip, had been quietly, respectfully burned. Madame Viti Salvatore. By November 12th, he had lost 2 warehouses to a very boring-looking federal raid. By November 15th, he had lost a shipping route to a corporate takeover. Nobody read the fine print on. By November 18th, his nephew in Portland was in a federal holding cell and was anyone could tell about to talk. On the morning of November 20th, Salvatore Vitti called Dominic Cavello. Sarah was in the study when the phone rang. She was reading. She had started reading 3 days ago for the first time in 4 years. She was reading a book about a woman who ran a bakery in Sicily. She did not know why that was the book. It was the one Gianna had left open on the kitchen table. Dominic picked up the phone. He said nothing. He let Salvatore Vitti speak for 11 minutes. Sarah did not hear what Vitti said. She did not need to. She watched Dominic's face. She watched the small, tired smile that Dominic wore while men groveled to him. She watched him listen to an apology, and at the end of it speak 3 sentences in Italian and hang up. He set the phone down. He looked at Sarah. Dominic? Yes, sweetheart. What did you say? I said, Salvatore, you came at my daughter. I said, there is no word in Italian for what I am going to do to you, my friend. I said, you will find out. And then I hung up, sweetheart. Sarah closed the book. Dominic. Yes. Is he going to die? No, sweetheart. No. No, Salvatore is going to live a very, very long time. Alone, in a place he does not get to choose. Thinking every morning about the fact that he came at my daughter and nothing happened. That is worse than dying, Sarah. For a man like him, trust me. She trusted him. But Sophia healed. She healed slowly and she healed in stages, and some stages were worse than others. There was a bad week in late November where she would not leave her room. There was a worse week in December when she called Sarah at 4 a.m. sobbing because she had dreamed Gianna was in her bed again. Sarah sat on the edge of that bed at 4 a.m. and held her hand and said, she is not here, honey. She is never coming back. I am here. Your daddy is here. We are not going anywhere. Sophia cried until she fell asleep. Sarah did not go home that night. She did not, in fact, go home most nights after that. By Christmas, her new apartment was mostly a room where her coat lived. By January, Sophia called her Sarah in public, and Sarah in her head, and once over breakfast on accident, Mom. The words slipped out. Sophia turned bright red and tried to take it back. Sarah, without meaning to, started to cry. Dominic watched both of them from the other end of the table and did not say a single word. He did not have to. Sarah wrote one letter to her brother in April. It was 3 pages long. It was not easy to write. It took her 4 nights. She told him Sophia was getting better. She told him she forgave him mostly, and that on the days she didn't, she was still working on it. She told him she had not lost him. She had only for now put him down. She told him their mother would have been proud of him for stepping out of the car. She told him their father, if he was watching, was proud too. She told him she loved him. She signed it Sar, the way she had signed every note since he was 4 years old. She did not get a letter back. She had not expected one. Michael was not yet allowed to write. That was fine. She could wait. In the second week of May, Dominic walked into the sunroom where Sarah was reading. He sat across from her. He set a small black box on the table between them. Dominic, Sarah. Dominic, that had better be earrings. He laughed, out loud. It was the 5th time, by her count, that she had heard him really laugh in 6 months. It is not earrings, Sarah. Dominic. Sarah, open it. Dominic, I don't... Sarah, she opened it. It was not a ring, not yet. It was a small silver key, heavy, old, worn at the edges, attached to a little leather tag that said in faded handwriting she did not recognize the words Casa Covello, 1948. Dominic, what is this? It is the key to this house, Sarah. There are 3 of these keys in the world, sweetheart. My father made them in 1948. One was for him, one was for my mother, one was for whoever came after. I have the first one. Sophia has, since she was 13, had the second. I am giving you the third. Dominic, Sarah. Dominic, I can't. Sarah. She closed her mouth. He reached across the table and took her hand. For the first time in 6 months, the hand he took was not the hand of a man running something. It was the hand of a man asking for something. I am not asking you to marry me, Sarah. Not yet. I am not even asking you to love me. Not yet. I am asking you to take this key and to put it on the chain around your neck. The one with the cross Sophia gave back to you at Easter because she said it looked better on you, and to wear it. That is all. Wear it. And when you are ready, sweetheart, for the thing that comes after, you will tell me. Until then, this house is yours. My daughter is yours. I am yours. And you can take all the time in the world. Sarah stared at the key. She stared at the man. From the hallway, she heard Sophia laugh at something on her phone. 19. Healing. Here. Sarah Mitchell, waitress at Benny's Diner on 4th and Pike 8 months ago and a lifetime ago, unclasped the chain around her neck. She slid the key on. She fastened it again with hands that, for the first time in her life, did not shake. "Okay," she said quietly. "Okay. Okay." Dominic Cavello closed his eyes for 1 second only. When he opened them, he was the Mafia boss again. The ghost at the mayor's shoulder. The name on the news. But there was a thing in his face the news would never see. "Thank you, Sarah." "You're welcome, Dominic." "Good girl." That night, after Sophia was asleep, Sarah sat on the balcony at the top of the house and watched the lights of Seattle come up one by one. She thought about her brother in a small town in a state she could not name, washing dishes at a diner he had not chosen, learning slowly, clumsily, the way he had learned everything as a boy, to be a man his father would have recognized. She thought about Jana somewhere below her in a small room she would never leave, saying her rosary. She thought about Sophia sleeping with Sarah's mother's cross on her nightstand. She thought about her father, Thomas Mitchell Foreman at Pier 18, who had sent her to bed one night with the flu and had, without knowing it, bought her this life. She thought about the night at Benny's and the alley and the dumpster and the phone and the 3 words on a cracked screen. "If my daughter dies," and the small blonde girl with the silver cross who had been turning blue in her lap. She thought about all of it, and she understood very quietly and very completely that everything, every single thing had happened for a reason she could not have seen at the time. Dominic came out onto the balcony behind her. He did not speak. He put one arm around her shoulders. She leaned her head into the crook of his neck. "Dominic." "Yes, sweetheart." "I was worried about table 6 that night." "I know, sweetheart." "Table 6. I was worried about table 6, whether they'd left me a tip." "I know. And now, I know Sarah." "Dominic." "Yes. I'm not afraid anymore." He did not answer for a moment. Then he said very quietly into her hair, "I know, Sarah. That is how I know you are home." Her fingers closed around the 3 things on her chain: a wooden cross given to her by a woman who had tried to kill her, a silver key to a house that had once upon a time not been hers, and underneath both of them, against her skin, the small, steady beat of a heart that, for the first time since she was 16 years old, finally knew exactly where it belonged. Sarah Mitchell, 31 years old, former waitress at Benny's Diner on 4th and Pike, stood on the top balcony of the Cavello house in the first soft dark of a Seattle May, leaned against the shoulder of the most dangerous man in the city, and understood all the way down to the bottom of her bones one last simple thing. She was home. She was safe. She was loved. She was a Cavello now, and God help the man who ever came for her family again.